we're not going to let them. That's the plan. You know, people say, what's the plan? The plan is very simple. The blockade, first of all, was a part of military genius, just like Venezuela was military genius. We have the greatest military in the world by far, and we're stocked up with great ammunition. We have much better stuff than we did 2 months ago.
You know what that means. When Donald Trump says we have a plan, you know his ass has no plan, okay? Which is exactly what's going on. He has no plan. The idea that, like, instead of securing a deal 2 days prior to the China summit, he's threatening to escalate militarily. I mean, what the is the plan at this point? He's going to accelerate the bleeding. It's already hemorrhaging. America has lost this, okay? I've said this over and over again. The stockpiles are down. America has shown its ass to the rest of the world. We don't have the same force projection capabilities we once thought we had. A middle power is able to hold the entire global economy in a standstill against the most powerful military force on the planet. The United States spends more money on its military than 8 of its peer and near peer adversaries combined. This includes Russia, this includes China. It's not even a question who has the most powerful military on the planet. And the fact that they were not able to pry open the Strait of Hormuz militarily and defeat Iran militarily shows that America does not have that same power any longer. But there is a way to open the Strait of Hormuz. Diplomacy. Iran has shown its willingness to engage America diplomatically over and over again. As a matter of fact, to a degree that one would even consider naivete. America and Israel has over Iran in the process of negotiations twice. Donald Trump is the guy who ripped open the JCPOA agreement that Iran had set up with Barack Obama in the past, a multilateral commitment from China, Russia, European partners, the International Atomic Energy Agency. It was working. It was successful. And Iran got limited sanctions relief in the process. And Donald Trump came into office shortly thereafter and destroyed it. And he did it for Israel because Israel was the only country that was against the JCPOA. And they let it be known over and over again, very publicly. Benjamin Netanyahu came to the United States of America and delivered a speech on Barack Obama in front of Congress. All of that led to Iran finally closing up the Strait of Hormuz, something that they had not done in 47 years. And here we are. Donald Trump is failing to pry open the strait militarily. Iran is still maintaining the same militant posture. Iran is basically saying, look, these are our demands. They've been the same since like week 2 of Operation Epic Fail. And Trump is now going back to potential military escalation. This will only accelerate the bleeding because the only path to opening the Strait of Hormuz right now, as it stands, is not this long-standing, possible months-long conflict and standoff, but it's diplomacy. There's also one group that is in favor of the continuation of this conflict, and that's Israel. So remember that.
I would say the ceasefire is on massive life support, where the doctor walks in and says, sir, your loved one has approximately a 1%.
I don't even know what the to say about this. Yeah, it's on life support because of you, jackass. Is because you care more about Israel than you do about making sure that Thailand continues having an electrical grid. You care more about making sure that Israel's appetite is satiated for death and destruction than you do about making sure that Japan has sufficient energy, making sure that South Korea has sufficient energy. It's ridiculous. It is completely ridiculous. There is no alternative but to accept the rights of the Iranian people as laid out in the 14-point proposal. Any other approach will be completely inconclusive, nothing but one failure after another. The longer they drag their feet, the more American taxpayers will pay for it.
Eagle, in Persian, can accommodate all types of fighter jets and bombers, in addition to...
They got the F-4s in the caves, man. They got their fighter jets.
Iran's army on Tuesday unveiled its first underground base for fighter jets designed to withstand possible strikes by U.S. bunker-busting bombs, state media reported. The base, named Ogab 44, Eagle, in Persian, can accommodate all types of fighter jets and bombers, in addition to drones, the official news agency IRNA said, releasing images and videos from inside the base. The exact location of the base was not revealed, but state media said it was at the depth of hundreds of meters under the mountains and capable of withstanding.
This is from 2022. No, I know it's older footage. I just think it's crazy that even their hangars are inside of the mountain. By the way, this is straight up North Korea's whole thing. This is North Korea's influence. Like, I'm not even joking, because I often will say, oh, North Korea, like what kind of junior partner role could they be playing in like Ukraine or whatever? This is the Democratic People's Republic of Korea's multi-decade planning and aid. They got straight up genocided by the Allied force of the Korean War and were like, never again. We're building everything underground. You slander the best Korea too much, little bro. Straight up, this is Jusha, 100%. Same with Hamas. They went into every country that is an adversary nation to American imperialism and were like, we will aid you. We will offer you our support. We will help you build underground missile bunkers, underground missile facilities. We will give you the greatest tunnel tech. This was the first ever thread I saw of Bonzer Barry as well. He's great. He's a great OSINT guy, very reliable. I don't think it would be far-fetched to say that Hamas weathering 15 months of air bombardment and ground invasion has a long historical thread tying back the U.S. dropping over 500 million tons of bombs on North Korea. There are many factors that allowed the Al-Qassam brigades to emerge from all corners of Gaza on Sunday, but a major one was their spider web of underground tunnels, a complex, endless maze of reinforced tunnels, 50 to 100 meters underground with over 5,000 access shafts. Following the U.S.'s genocidal air campaign in North Korea, described by Ken LeMay, General LeMay, Curtis bombs away LeMay, as burning down every village in North Korea, the KPA started building a massive network of tunnels along the DMZ. North Korea is regarded as the most tunneled nation in the world by military experts. North Korea also built underground command centers, industrial sites, and the Pyongyang Metro, the deepest metro on Earth, capable of withstanding a nuclear strike. The same year they completed the metro, North Korea dispatched an engineer regiment to North Vietnam to help them construct an underground military headquarters and pass on their expertise/equipment in their fight against the U.S. invasion. Anyway, how do we get to the North Korean tunnels? Oh, we were looking at the incredible tunnel systems they have for even their planes. Wall Street Journal reports the UAE has been secretly carrying out attacks on Iran, casting the Gulf monarchy as an active combatant in a war, which it has been Iran's biggest target. One strike in April hit an oil refinery in Iran's Lavon Island. The attack led to a major fire and caused the refinery to be shut down for several months. Iran responded with missile and drone strikes against the United Arab Emirates and Kuwait. Well, now we get to see a clearer picture of why Iran was so punishing of the United Arab Emirates beyond just hating the vibes of the UAE. Mr. Trump and Xi Jinping are reportedly considering a deal to allow China to invest $1 trillion in the U.S., largely to build factories on American soil. Trump on the verge of making massive error. Dude, he is literally reheating Obama's nachos every day. Okay? It's unbelievable. This is literally just Obama. What the Yo, straight up, JCPOA is currently being discussed. The ceasefire that we have right now is JCPOA, but bigger, okay? And if he ends up getting Chinese factory investment on U.S. soil, he's just Obama. He is literally white man Obama. He's like, I didn't like that Obama was black while doing the things he was doing, okay? That's incredible. It's really funny because whenever people bring up like, well, isn't this just the JCPOA? He just straight up says, no, Obama did it, but did it stupidly. You're just doing JCPOA, but with more favorable conditions for Iran. And you're also doing Chinese investment on U.S. soil for American factories, but once again, something that Obama also did, but doing it not as a black man, I guess. Are you racist? You didn't hate on Obama when he did these things? Is it because Trump is pasty white? If these deals actually come to fruition, they're great. If these deals actually come to fruition, they're great. They're just, I would say. I'm in favor of stability and peace, okay? The problem is the way he's arriving at these deals is he's just blundering. Obviously, the chatter was joking, by the way. I don't think chatter is saying that like I'm demonstrating anti-white racism. And I've been unbelievably critical of Barack Obama because I think it's appropriate to be critical of Barack Obama. But there are certain things that I've always held up in Barack Obama's foreign policy agenda that I thought were very good. JCPOA, the Cuban normalization arrangement, like these were good things that Barack Obama did. Sometimes they were so good that it even confused the adversaries themselves. Like JCPOA was not confusing. It was a long-standing, almost a decade-long process of negotiations that finalized with all of these other countries involved in it. But with Cuba, the Cubans were surprised. Like they didn't even understand it. They were like, why the is this happening? America's never been good to us. Anyway, Obama has also done a whole deal of a litany of war crimes, drone warfare, extrajudicial killings of American citizens, all this stuff. Didn't close Guantanamo Bay, did the troop surge in Iraq. I can go on for decades, okay? However, Obama also didn't get the JCPOA by closing the Strait of Hormuz, creating a global energy crisis, collapsing the energy markets, and behaved like Israel's little puppet in the process. He actually expended a good deal of social capital capital that he had and caused a lot of anger and resentment from the Israeli side, which I think was objectively a good thing. And Libya as well, who could forget? Obviously, God, there's, like I said, I could talk for hours, if not for years, if not for decades, about the many failures of Barack Obama in terms of his foreign policy. That's why I was giving you the much shorter part of Barack Obama's legacy that I think is worthy of praise, rather than the parts of Barack Obama's legacy that are worthy of tremendous criticism.
And pussy too.
Obama's here. Whoa, Obama, what are you doing here?
And pussy too.
What? That's crazy. It is very funny, though, that the guy who was responsible for ripping up the JCPOA and then doing the Abraham Accords is now finally arriving at JCPOA 2, Electric Boogaloo.
And pussy too.
And Sina Tusi says, Trump has no good options on Iran. He could have stayed in the Obama deal. I like this tie, by the way. I hate to admit, I'm a suit guy now, so I notice these things. Trump has no good options in Iran. He could have stayed in the Obama deal or taken the reportedly stronger arrangement on the table before the war. Instead, he chose relentless escalation with Iran since 2018, motivated by his own grudges, hubris, and the path Netanyahu and the Israel lobby sent him on. In doing so, he gave Iran the opportunity to activate its innate leverage over the Strait of Hormuz and pulled the U.S. into a strategic quagmire. Now he's sinking deeper into an escalation trap despite there being no military solution. Closer look at the tie while he's perfectly still, lol.
During the earliest years of their children's lives. Second, we are
This is so funny. Dude, I'm about to say something that's a little libbed up. You know, I was literally screaming about Brandon's brain leaking out of his ears since 2019. I said he shouldn't run. He's unbelievably old. His faculties have diminished. And the media took its sweet ass time to get there. Perhaps far too late. And it definitely played a role in the diminished credibility of mainstream media for not openly covering that Brandon was demented. I will, however, say this. This is not normal. It's not normal. The media's doing it again. So perhaps they have a uniparty principle when it comes to hiding the fact that our president is demented. I'm sorry. It's objectively abnormal to have the leader of the free world falling asleep every damn day. What are we doing? Why is no one saying, hey, it's a little strange that our 80-year-old president is himself and farting in his diapers and falling asleep every day while actively decomposing on the timeline? Why is there not a single news article about this? Have you not learned your lesson from Joe Brandon? What the is going on? I'm sorry. This is not normal. He is literally a rotting corpse. What is happening? Why is this the normal? Why is this a new norm? Why do we have two rotting carcasses back to back? He's dead, bro. He's dead. Let it go. He was blinking, you absolute moron. Oh my God, the cope. Every time I see this, David Pakman agrees with me. Okay, this is one area of agreement because guess what? We're not agreeing with one another. We're just observing reality. This is genuinely insane. What the are we doing? This is truly alarming. Okay, this is alarming. This guy is sleeping all the time and possibly farting. There's reports that he might be farting all the time too. We don't know if those reports are substantiated. I feel like if he was farting a lot in his sleep, like people would probably at some point leak it, right? Because he's constantly around not just like Secret Service and staffers, but he's also around like celebrities and like, you know, I'm sure if he farted in front of Messi would be like, that's weird that the president farted in front of me.
In the Perinatal Improvement Collaborative, hospitals, we have reduced maternal mortality by 41.5%, which is true.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. What are we doing, man? He said Dumbocrats.
By some very bad people. Now I'm the hunter. Much better when you're the hunter. But these are bad people, and they'll give you no support at all, no matter how good it is. I mean, as an example, I don't know what the numbers are, but if we go to Congress to get something approved, which we get, but you can say that we're going to reduce drug prices by 80%, and we won't get one Democrat on. I don't know how they get away with it. That's why we call them the Democrats. We have a new name. They're Democrats.
Oh, no.
What the hell? Oh, my.
That's terrible. The Democrats? Oh, he's washed. When my goat is washed, my goat's so washed. What?
They're dumb. They're dumb people. And then they just can't do it. I've been waiting so long for them to change, but they just keep losing, and they're going to keep losing with their policy.
Yeah, they're going to keep losing. That's why we're trying to cheat.
Truly incredible. And this is compared with the 5.9% decline in benchmark hospitals.
I can't believe it, dude. What are we doing? What a dumbass country we live in. Like, we have so much potential. And it's a nation run by two carcasses back to back. Corrupt tyrants, carcasses, only invested in advancing the interests of corporations and the super wealthy.
For the time being, the ceasefire remains in place.
You know, it's unbelievably weak. I would say, I would call it the weakest right now.
From the standpoint of weakness, this is the weakest that they've ever
After
been.
reading that piece of garbage they sent us, I didn't even finish reading it. They said, I'm not going to waste my time reading it. I would say it's one of the weakest right now. It's on life support. They understand. These are all medical people. Dr. Oz, life support is not a good thing. Do you agree?
Bad prognostic.
I would say the ceasefire is on massive life support, where the doctor walks in and says, sir, your loved one has approximately a 1% chance of living.
The JCPOA has been characterized by Trump and other opponents as a kind of woke capitulation by Democrats, whereas in reality it was the product of cold realist calculation that the U.S. global power would obviously go into relative decline over time, and thus it would be better to negotiate favorable terms for a drawdown, including preventing an Iranian nuclear weapon in exchange for sanctions relief, rather than have it collapse in unwinnable confrontations. There's some reports that Pakistan has quietly allowed Iran to park military aircraft, including an RC-130 reconnaissance plane, at its strategic Noor Khan airbase near Rawalpindi, even as Islamabad publicly presented itself as a mediator between Tehran and Washington. Iran has also moved civilian aircraft to Afghanistan, with one Mahan airplane relocated from Kabul to Herat for safety during Pakistan's airstrikes on Kabul in March. Pakistan and Afghan Taliban officials denied the claims, while U.S. officials say the arrangement appeared aimed at shielding Iranian assets from American strikes. Israel is now deploying lifelike mannequin decoys dressed in helmets, tactical vests, and masks, and military uniforms to bait Hezbollah FPV drones into wasting their munitions on fake targets. I think Hezbollah knows to target the streaming running ones instead of the obviously brave ones. I don't think this is going to work, and the only reason why I say that is because, yeah, the Israeli occupying forces oftentimes run away. Trump meme, what is he doing?
Okay, we have it in our sight. Fire, boom. Okay, we have it in our sight. Fire, boom.
Axios says two U.S. officials say Trump is now leaning towards taking some form of military action against Iran to increase pressure on the regime and force concessions on its nuclear program.